Hello.
Where's Xavier?
He's here.
He is?
Yeah.
And who's not here?
No one.
Everyone's
Everybody's here.
here?
Yeah.
I didn't hear everybody.
Well, he hasn't said anything, but he's here.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
See, there he is.
what the fuck?
He's been skulking in the corner for the past 5 minutes.
Sounds about right. I didn't even hear him join. Alright, well, yeah. Take it away.
All right. You know what this is. You read the title. You're not dumb. Um, I'm your
Unless
host.
you are.
Well, unless you are, in that case, Lamau.
Lamau Zedong.
Yeah. I'm, of course, your host, joined today by the Imperator.
Howdy.
He plays Cairo Zetsubo.
Yeah.
Javier's also here.
Not doing the jet this time.
He plays something Wong, or the Don, on occasion.
Or Oid.
Barely. in recent sessions, he's only played one of the two of his alter egos.
Yeah.
And also, Kyle's here.
Yeah.
Playing a femme fatale.
Right, that's it, guys. See you next episode. Lamau.
Bye.
Roll credits.
If you like this episode, you know what to do.
Oh God. So, last
Roll
time.
Credits.
Yeah, roll credits, and it's just like
For-
a nice calm anime, like elevator music.
Retro.
Yeah.
You are my.
That's some broken credits.
Oh God. So last time, the group had their time on vacation in Berlin. There were several attempts on
Did
their
not
lives.
end well.
No, it didn't. There were
Very
several attempts on their
enjoyable.
lives. Well, I mean, yeah,
No one was attempted death. It was very enjoyable.
it was totally calm, and you guys left entirely.
Conspicuously without raising any alarms.
Yes, no alarms were raised. The police were never called, not once.
Definitely not banned from Belgium or Berlin.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. So yeah, you guys getting your stuff in Berlin. You guys had avoided several attempts on your lives, and then you made it onto Dapper's private jet to make your way to Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. You guys are on the plane, and Dapper tells you all that well, he tells Kairos in particular that your rifle that you paid for before will be waiting for you in Egypt once you guys get past security at the airport.
Very nice, very nice. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna say that while I'm working on programs and whatnot.
Yep. Alrighty. Yeah. So he's like, yep, that'll be there, and then he explains like the political situation of Egypt for the rest of them who don't know. That being that Egypt is still a sovereign country. It isn't like a giant corporate wasteland like the rest of the world is. Egypt does still have a government, does still have a military force and a police force and all that stuff. That being said, it's pretty corrupt. So while things like gun laws are just as strict as they are in Berlin, that being like you can only have a pistol and stuff like that registered, the authorities can be relatively easily bribed to turn a blind eye. So that's what Dapper's done.
Okay.
So you guys keep your weapons on you without any trouble.
Oh, nice.
Because Dapper is a good guy like that. So is that the Egyptian folks tend to despise most major corporations because they've seen what the corporations have done to places like Ryanstown, for instance. and are like, that's pretty bad. I don't want that.
Okay.
So there's a pretty strong anti-corporate sentiment amongst the general populace, although the upper classes tend to be said corporations. So there is some discontent there.
Understandable.
Yeah, you can, to kind of reiterate the mission. You guys are to transport a coin collection, a vintage coin collection that is actually like dollar coins from like the United States of America from like 70 something years ago. They're worth quite a bit of money in their current state, and they're meant to do this kind of like thin like plexiglass clear briefcase almost. And so you can see the coins in there sitting in their little like round divots in the like in the case itself. And he hands it to you guys. And I was like, bring this in a week's time, or I guess whenever, but look around the city, have some fun. And
as soon as possible.
Yeah, bring it over to, then go to the city's caravansary at the edge of the city. Meet your guide, a man named Adel Essa. He'll be waiting for you there. He will provide the transportation and get you guys marching through the desert. That will be a day journey, so you'll nap out in the desert, and then you guys will finish the trip out to the Saharan Solar Solutions outpost in the desert. Then once you get there, then you'll hand over the coin collection to the executive of the outpost, a man named what's his first name? I always forget his first name. Mahfoud Najjar, that's what his name is.
Food in the jar, got it.
Yes, food jar, cookie jar. And he's like, once you hand over the coin collection to Mr. Najjar, then Essa will take you guys back to the city, and you guys can make your way via plane back to Ryanstown.
We're sure we can trust your man?
Dapper's like, well, I have no need not to trust him. He's done job work for me before. Helped orchestrate several other meetings between myself and Mr. Najjar in the past. He is a bit weird, though. He's kind of an unhealthy obsession with the desert. So
can't see why anybody would want that, but alright. The desert out in Egypt is unforgiving, to say the least.
Like, yes, he has his kind of whole life philosophy based around the desert. It's kind of odd. Anyway, you'll see what I mean eventually. In the meantime, yes, that's any further questions?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Alright. And then the rest of the plane ride goes rather smoothly. It's only a few hours. Probably, I think it's like 8 hours. 6 hours, 8 hours. And you guys make it to Cairo, the airport. So you guys, the plane lands and it enters its own private hangar building on this massive airstrip. And the door to the jet opens up, and Dapper walks out, and he kind of directs you guys to leave via the hangar doors, and then enter the actual airport terminal from there. And he kind of walks off to the side and starts talking to an Egyptian guy with a big red beret and military fatigues, with a gun on his hip. And him and Dapper start talking to each other. And you guys walk through the hangar doors. You make it into the actual airport terminal. You pass through the security. Your cons are checked. Mr. Oid, what disguise are you using for this entrance into the city?
I think I went onto the plane as the Bean.
Yes, because you were like, well, something Wong is a wanted criminal now in Berlin.
Yeah, he is.
As are all of you. Okay, so you maintain as the Bean in your nice trench coat. I should note that Dapper did provide, of course, the desert outfits for you guys. But Bonus has instead gone full Max Payne. He's wearing like a Hawaiian button-down, short-sleeved dress shirt with his deagle holsters like over his shirt, and like his cargo pants and stuff, and his boots.
Of course he is.
Yeah, so he's gone like intimidating tourist route as opposed to like tactical desert camo. And you all make it through security. Right? And it's like walk into like the edge of terminal, and a couple of airport security guys, who are dressed in like normal soldier attire and carrying like galeels. They just bring you guys through a separate door and out beside the entrance of the building. Like they just like check your cons, and you're like, okay, that's legit, and then let you go pass without scanning you, without checking you, without questioning you about anything. They just let you all through, and you guys find yourselves in Cairo.
Nice.
There are a bunch of street vendors. So the front of this airport is like all airports in different countries are full of like vendors and people trying to sell things, offer pamphlets, trying to con tourists out of their money. There are pickpockets in the crowds. The whole kit and caboodle. It is.
Cairo's gonna turn to the rest of the party and be like, "Watch your pockets, everybody. Don't let anybody touch you."
Yeah. Good advice. It is. I should also note, oppressively hot. It is. Like in the shade it isn't as bad. Probably only like 80 degrees in the shade, but not in the shade. It's over 100 degrees easily. So for most of you, except for Cairo himself, who grew up here, it is quite dry and quite hot. Not like that humid heat that like makes you feel bad, but it's just like being in an oven, basically.
Yeah.
And it's very dusty, very sandy. The roads and the buildings and the people are kind of covered in like a kind of light dusting of sand perpetually, it seems. Cars and people in carts and like mopeds and crowds of people shuffling along the street, rushing back and forth. Cairo is a huge city. It is a modern city, but it is still Egypt. So
Cairo's gonna like take a big long smell of the air, all the the market smells mixing around.
yeah, so it's like
Just the,
incense and like that new carpet smell and like
and
sand
food.
and foods and alcohol and a lot of sweat too.
Home sweet home. I've always hated it.
Great. You guys are on the sidewalk in front of the airport, free to do and go wherever you please.
Very nice. First things first. I'm gonna go and just meander and look around.
All right, just gonna like walk through the streets.
There is a specific person that Cairo is going to try and find.
Alrighty. The rest of you, do you have any particular plans or things you want to do right now?
I don't know. I've been in Egypt.
Cairo's really the only one that knows this area.
Yes, you're also the only one who speaks the language. Because everything in here, I guess like the airport and stuff and like areas around it would have like dual, like bilingual signs in English and in Arabic.
They would also probably be selling the
like the translator,
translators.
Yeah, like dictionaries and stuff. But most of the signs once you leave like the tourist district are all in Arabic, and only person here who speaks Arabic is Cairo. So, or I guess Oid could learn if you wanted to learn. Like you could just update your linguistic software and just magically learn Arabic, but that would take a while to kind of download.
At least it's Arabic and it's not like Mandarin. Oh.
Yeah,
I guess I'll be trailing around doing that then.
Okay. And you're kind of begin downloading like the Duolingo, uh,
Google Translate.
yeah, the Google Translate files for Arabic. Um, so yeah, I mean, you guys walk around the kind of general area. This is like the tourist district. There's a lot of like restaurants, a lot of big hotels, a lot of like car rental or like motorcycle rental places, a lot of like markets, bazaars. Like the big open air markets. Probably like every alleyway has some kind of vendor in it, either legal or otherwise. People are selling like knockoff watches and purses and clothes, knockoff electronics. There are people who are selling like incense and different like trinkets and like baubles, like bracelets or like sun hats or various tchotchkes and
Are we doing them first or me first? Because Cairo just like wanders off on his own because he knows where he's going.
Okay. I mean, unless the others have anywhere set they
Special.
want to go.
Like I said, I don't know Egypt. If anything, I'd just be strolling around and be like, cool.
Yeah, it's
Watch your pockets.
yeah, it's definitely a culture shock. Like there are, groups of kids playing like in alleyways, like playing soccer or, just tossing the ball around, playing tag. Something you all would notice: many people here, including children, have some kind of augments. They aren't usually bionics; they're usually normal prosthetics or low-quality bionics. But even the kids have like legs or arms or like part of their faces or their jaws are metal or like plastic, like polymer. There are whole like sections of the city that are just giant like tent cities, like huge homeless, huge like
I also have
slum
Monk
areas.
with me. I forgot about that.
Yes,
I
you
forgot
have
about that. I'm not very inconspicuous.
No, none of you are. You all, I mean, for instance, Owen's walking around in a beige trench coat and a beige fedora, with like an AK on his back. Same with Knox, and Bonus is wearing a Hawaiian shirt and two very expensive Desert Eagles. So
I'm in an Anubis mask, so I mean I kind of
Yes.
blend into the environment more than others would.
I mean, yeah, you stand out as being like you have the money to afford an Anubis mask, but also you're not obviously like,
Not from here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strange place, given that like it definitely gives the sense that a lot of people here have a lot of low quality bionics. A lot of people have what's called like cyber sepsis, which is that like the connection points for bionics gets infected. And like your bionics will like reject your body will reject the bionics. A lot of
Reject
people have
humanity.
that. Yeah, a lot of people have some kind
Return
of
to
infection in their augments.
I kind of laugh inside. I'm like,
Yeah, because they can't
Imagine
afford.
cyber sepsis.
Yeah, they can't afford the LSSI stuff. And also probably wouldn't even be in Egypt, to be honest. So yeah, you guys just kind of walk around, taking the sights. The cars here are all like 20 years old. They're all kind of beaten
It's
up.
all
or sandy.
BMWs.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of like, beaten up like jalopies, and it's like a Lamborghini drive by, casually,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Yeah.
what the heck? So yeah, it's you get the feeling there's not many middle class people here, similar to like Ryanstown or anywhere else in a cyberpunk world, that most people don't have modern things. Either you have super advanced stuff, or you have like,
Nothing at all.
yeah, like an 80-year-old set of equipment and stuff.
It is very stark contrast.
Yes. Like the buildings here are also like the same. Like there'll be, like one huge skyscraper that's like glistening and nice, fancy, like pristine, clean glass and and steel beams and like a nice marble steps and like a fountain out front and stuff. And then like the next building over will be just like a ramshackle cobblestone or like sandstone like shack, basically like a 2-story shack.
Yeah.
So also, guys, we noticed there are like very obvious like opium dens and stuff and drug dens just on the streets. Nobody seems
There's
to care.
also people just doing drugs on the streets.
Yeah, nobody seems to really bat an eyelash
Old
at
men
any of it.
smoking pipes.
Of course, on their rocking chairs on the out front of their they're like mud like oven baked mud brick huts.
Yeah.
It's quite odd to see the far flung future mashed together with like traditional architecture and stuff. Very strange. So yeah, that's what you guys see as you kind of meander down the roads randomly. As for Mr. Cairo, where are you going?
I'm going to a old tea shop in my old neighborhood.
Okay, so you take like a half an hour walk, and you enter probably the lower class area. The buildings are relatively small. They're only like apartment buildings essentially.
And here I'm gonna I'm gonna like flick my head back and have my helmet disengage.
Okay. Yeah, so you walk up, but it's like an open air kind of like cafe tea shop with like no like walls to kind of keep the air out. It's just like pillars just to keep the roof up, and then it's just like a counter and like the tables and chairs, and the kitchen is like in a back is in an enclosed space behind the counter and stuff. But the main room is all open to the air, with like fans going in the ceiling and stuff to keep people relatively cool.
As cool as one can be.
Yes, it is like still in the 70s, basically.
Yeah.
There isn't much cooler you can get outdoors. So yeah,
But
you walk up. It's relatively busy.
I'm gonna walk over to the counter, and see if I recognize the store clerk.
No, it's just a kind of youngish guy, wearing like a simple kind of like white apron and stuff.
And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order a pot of tea.
All right.
Damn, a whole pot?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's how they bring it out. Is in the whole pot. And they give me like
That's how
little
they do it.
individual like cups and stuff alongside with like a whole like tea set, basically. So yeah, you walk up, you order the tea. That'll probably only be like $5, probably. So I will
Yeah.
subtract.
I'll get the tea and everything. Give me one moment, fellas.
Alrighty. So, while he gets his tea and the like, are you guys going to do anything in particular? Find anything, look for anything special?
To be real honest, I don't know what I'd spend my money on in Egypt.
I mean,
I'll
like,
turn to Bonus. He's in a thing. I'll be like, hey, Bonus, what do you think we should do before, I don't know, I guess Cairo comes back?
and I guess he kind of like looks at you after kind of staring at the landscape around him. He's like, oh, I don't know, I've never been here.
God.
Like, I've been to like Central Africa and like Southern Africa, but I haven't been to Egypt.
I see. You wanna do? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flip open. No, I'm gonna turn on my phone and search up what the hell to do in Egypt.
Okay, I mean, there are plenty
Top
of
10 things tourists do in Egypt.
I mean, obviously, like the pyramids of Giza. which are still around, and the Sphinx and stuff like that are all still around. So they're like top of the list. Similar with like visiting like various like old Egyptian ruins or like old mosques and stuff that are around. Museums. Probably would come with like, a couple like important like fancy restaurants and stuff that serve like the best of the best of like Egyptian cuisine and the like.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess.
If you text me, I can recommend some places.
Probably
Sure.
would also offer like one of like the things that like a lot of tourists like to do is they offer like sunset gondola rides down the Nile, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool because all the huge mansions are built along the Nile.
that's
So
that's gonna be one thing that Kyra's like, yeah, definitely do that. And then uh, he's gonna recommend a restaurant for them to go to.
okay. So you guys get recommendation for a nice traditional Egyptian restaurant.
Alright, I guess I'll.
Wanna? Oh, continue.
Yeah, no, like go to the recommended areas. At least
Alrighty.
see them.
Yeah, I mean the restaurant's nice. It's not like the most expensive place you've ever seen, but it's still, a relatively nice restaurant in like a better part of the city. It does serve mostly traditional Egyptian food, that being a lot of like lentils, a lot of rice, and a lot of fish and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I'll just order something cheap.
Alrighty, you guys have a nice meal and the like.
Sick. Yeah, I guess it's really it.
Alright, that'll take you guys like a couple of hours to do to have like a nice full meal and get to the place and everything. So yeah, Garno, what are you doing then?
After I get my tea and I've sat around for a couple minutes, I'm gonna go to the main store, or the store's main clerk, and I'm gonna ask him if he's seen my brother around.
He'd be like, oh, yes, we've
And I'm gonna ask for my brother by name.
Okay, he's like, oh yes, he's been around a little bit the past week or so. Why? Why do you ask?
Could you point me in the right direction? And I'm gonna so I'm gonna slip him like a $50 tip.
Jesus.
And I'm just gonna tell him an old friend's looking for him.
He listens to the $50 bill and he's like, oh, that's like a gold bar here. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money. And he's like, oh, yeah, of course. And he gives you like the address of your brother's like apartment, basically.
Thank you. I will also be taking this pot of tea to go.
Like, oh, of course, and he puts it in like a kind of like traveling like a jug.
Kettle almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it
So
is
something
a
to keep
kettle.
it warm, almost like a thermos.
Yeah, like a thermos.
Yeah. Alright. And then I'll be on my way.
Alrighty.
Over to my brother's apartment.
Alright. So you walk back, through the down the city streets of Cairo, and it's more or less how you remember it. Some of the buildings are a bit bigger than they were before, and some of them are like torn down or replaced with different buildings. But for the most part,
Yeah.
they're all relatively the same. And then you kind of pass through like a big kind of alleyway bazaar, a wide alleyway bazaar, and you come up the other side into like a residential district of these huge
Okay.
apartment buildings. And you stand in front of, you find, and then kind of stand in front of probably like a 20 or 25 story apartment block. that's kind of made of that like mud clay, like fired brick.
Yeah. All right. Well, time to see what he's been up to. And I'll walk in.
All right. So you enter the apartment building and stuff. The first floor is relatively empty. There are still like a big like nice rug, a couple of chairs and some potted plants, but not much else. And there's like the stairwell and an elevator. And you go up to the like 13th floor, where your the room number you were provided was.
Right.
And yeah, you get out the elevator and you walk down the kind of like 10-foot wide
Hallway.
yeah, the hallway. It's got a nice long kind of intricately woven like rug that runs the whole length of it, down the whole hallway, with little like ceiling lights and stuff. And you walk down the hallway probably like 2/3 of the way to like the back of the building, and you see the number of the apartment. It's probably like 50 something. That it matches the number you were given.
Okay. And is there a door or is it like a curtain? I'm assuming it's a door, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a door. It is a kind of standard like a cork, modern cork door.
Okay. I'll give it a knock.
All right. You give it a knock. And anyway, wait a couple seconds, and you hear like the door, like the knob turns slightly, and it opens up a crack, and you hear like who is it?
Who do you think? Numbskull?
And Wes just like you don't hear anything. You don't get a reply. It just closes again, and you hear like yeah, and you hear like the locks and stuff disengaging, and as he's like sliding things and taking the chains off of the door, and then he opens it a little bit wider this time, probably like 4 or 5 inches, instead of like a half an inch like he did before. Opens it and you can see his face, curly black hair and stuff, and he's kind of like cocking an eyebrow at you. And he's like, "And you are doing what here exactly?"
What does it look like? I'm working.
He's like, "You're working here?"
Yes.
Like, I thought we agreed to stick to our side of the ocean.
Yeah, but I came to see you before you came to kill me. I brought tea.
And he kind of like squints at you. He's like, "What kind of tea?"
The only kind. Jasmine.
And he kind of sighs very deeply. He's like, "Okay, fine." And he opens the door and see that he had a pistol against the door to shoot you. That he's holding in his hand.
Sounds about right.
And he stuffs it in the back of his like sweatpants. He's like, "All right, come on in, take your shoes off." And he just walks into his apartment.
I'll look over to Ankh and like whistle for him to come in.
All right,
As I take my shoes off when I enter.
All right, you take your shoes off and stuff. You put yours next to his on like the like welcome mat basically. His apartment is nicer than what you grew up in.
Expected.
Yeah, nicer than what most people I would expect in Cairo live in. It's bigger. It has like actual like a big TV against one of the wall, like an actual couch. There's some windows and some curtains. It's like over the city.
Only the rich get curtains.
Yeah. It's a normal kind of modern for us currently, like 2021 modern apartment. So it doesn't have like the built-in AI into it that like changes the lighting and the music automatically or whatever. But it's a good apartment.
It's good.
Yeah, it's something that you would assume
Not too
befits
shabby.
his line of work, basically.
Yeah.
Nicer than like nothing, but also like an executive suite, you know.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he's like, and he sees the Ankh walk in after you. And he's like, "You got a robot dog?"
One of the benefits of being in America, you can build anything, almost anything you want, and no one will hunt you down.
You're like,
I built it
yes."
myself.
Like the wonders of the Western Hemisphere, I'm sure. And then he goes over to like a kind of like nice polished wooden table with a few chairs around it, and he pulls one out and he sits down.
So, how has Egypt been treating you?
Like it's been treating me okay. He's like, it's not gotten much better since we were little, but
I'll sit across from him and pour us both a cup of tea.
all right. He takes it. He drinks it. He's like, "Oh, you got
Heard
this from
anything our sister?
Like, "Oh no, I haven't heard from her in what has it been, a few months, I think."
Few months. It's been years.
Well, she used to send postcards, but that stopped a while ago.
Mm.
You know her though.
Yeah. Probably doing something incredibly stupid.
Well, probably, but from her perspective, our occupations are similarly stupid. So
Agreed.
and yeah, kind of sips the tea a little bit more, and he's like, "I see you visited the old shop down the block."
Yeah, of course. Couldn't come here without going there.
He's like, of course."
My friends and I are here on business.
And he kind of
Gotta
cocks an
deliver.
eyebrow. It's like, "You have friends now?"
I was gonna say the same thing.
Like, when did that happen? I thought you were the loner type.
Yeah, I know it's shocking to me too. Never thought that I would do business with anybody other than myself. But they're trustworthy. I get along with them, for the most part.
He's like, and yeah, that's good, I guess.
I'm also here to make sure that you don't kill us.
Like, well, if you give me a reason to, then I won't.
We're trying to deliver a coin collection. What was the guy's name again?
The guy who's buying the coins?
Yes.
Mafood in a jar.
And I'll tell him we're trying to deliver a coin collection to Mafood in a jar.
And
We're
his,
here to make sure that you don't kill us or him.
his eyebrows kind of raise a little bit, and he's like, "That guy? It's like, what the heck? What kind of business you doing with that guy?"
Long story short, we've been targeted by a very dangerous person that's tried to kill me time and time again, and has failed. On our way here, we stopped in Berlin. I did a show. Long story. And someone tried to kill me, but comes with the business. Now, we're on our way to sell this coin collection and get the heat off of our backs, but I need to know that if anyone with a French accent comes around, you won't accept the job.
And he kind of like leans back in his chair, and he's like, "French accent." Like, yeah, okay. I'll look
He
out
may
for that.
send someone else, but I'll give him the guy's name.
Yeah, Emile Robillard.
Yeah. If anybody by that name comes looking for someone to do a job, we need those people to not take it. The person after us will do, I'd assume, almost anything to get us killed. And knowing that you're on my side at least lets me breathe easy for the day.
And your brother kind of, adjusts in his seat, and he's like, well, it would take a hefty price.
Fair enough. Does anybody, like, text me anything while I'm here?
Probably not. They're all busy,
Nice.
eating their nice, I guess probably be like lunch or like, like lunch at this point. Probably like early dinner,
Yeah.
late lunch,
And I'll turn to look at him and be like, you should come visit.
He's like,
You might like it there.
like, I have too many connections here.
Fair. But even for a week, it would be good to see you. Who knows? Maybe even our sister might be in town.
And he kind of like scoffs, and he's like, yeah, right.
You never know. Plus, you'd get to meet my friends. I think you might like one of them.
And he's like, one of them? Why, but the rest of them?
The other two are interesting.
I'm like, well, I would expect no less from somebody like you. You always had a knack for attracting the curious and weird,
That's fair. But who knows? You might just like it. Could suit you. You might even come back again.
And he kind of just like spins the teacup on the saucer. And like, yeah, we'll see.
That's all I ask is for consideration. I wish you weren't so distant. Granted, I have made mistakes in the past, but I've grown a lot.
I was like, well, it comes with our line of work.
Agreed. And I'll raise my teacup up for like a cheers.
And he kind of raises it up, and he's like, to mercenaries. And then he clinks your glass.
To rebuilding the bridge. And I'll drink.
Alrighty.
I'll also tell him I do need to get going, but I'll leave my card.
He's like, sure.
Is he gonna make a comment about the fact that I have a card now?
Well, when he sees it, he'll be like, he'll kind of like, turn it over and look at it and read it and stuff. And he's like, this is kind of swanky for you, no?
Yeah, it makes it easy for the customers.
Like, good for you.
So many people in Ryanstown are used to that kind of treatment now, so I have to abide.
Like, yes, like the big city. Well,
The only city.
Like the only city. You're in a city right now.
Well,
It's not as fancy as your
obviously.
lovely Ryanstown, but it does the job.
Oh, trust me. I'd rather be here than in Ryanstown.
He raises an eyebrow. He's like, well, that's certainly a testament to your precious city's current state, I suppose.
Of course. Yeah, it's nice there, but nothing beats home.
He kind of nods silently.
But, alas, I must be off. If I have any spare time, I will come back and see you again.
I'm like, all right, sure.
It's been a pleasure talking with you again.
He's like, yeah. I'm glad to see you.
I'll hold out my hand for a handshake.
He shakes it.
Nice. I'm gonna whistle to Ankh one more time, and then we'll leave.
Alrighty. So you guys leave your brother's apartment building, and you
Yeah.
walk back out into the oppressive heat of the Egyptian afternoon.
I will then send out a text. Hey, where are you guys?
I guess you get like a text,
Does anyone respond?
just like, I guess bonus would provide like the address of like the restaurant that you recommended everybody.
Oh, alright. Cool. I'll meet them there.
Alrighty. So after as the rest of the party is kind of finishing up their late or early dinner, late lunch, you guys are kind of we're all paying the check and stuff and standing up to leave. Cairo and Ankh walk up from the sidewalk and join the rest of the group.
Greetings, everyone.
Bonus just nods.
Yeah.
So, how was your food?
Eating. Okay, I guess.
That's good. What do you want? Details?
About?
Where I was?
I'm pretty sure. Did you mention it at all?
No.
Before?
I
mentioned
got off
it
the
back
plane.
in Berlin. He mentioned seeing his brother. So
Oh yeah.
I got off the plane and I went off.
Yep.
I just left.
Presumably to your brother.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Then
did.
yeah, no, I don't
Question it at all?
I mean, you came back alive, so I assume it went well.
Yeah. Fairly well.
You don't need to like kill anyone, I guess.
No. No one needs to die today.
Bonus disagrees.
Uh,
It's always
Who are you
somebody
gonna kill?
murder. I don't know. The first pedestrian he happens to see, gone, just like that. No, he's not quite that murderous.
Sounds about right.
So what do we do now? Do we get a head start on this? I mean, we got a week in here, I guess.
Well, yeah, we can do, well, whatever you guys want, really.
Nothing, really. I'll be real honest with you, Cairo. Never cared to go to Egypt. Not really a traveling type of gal, you know what I mean? So
Well, we're here now.
yeah.
So that is no longer, your consent is no longer required.
My wallet is though.
Not really.
Yeah, but if we're gonna be like, traveling, seeing things that require money,
Up until this point, our trip has been completely paid for.
Yes, because the Berlin stuff and the cruise was all paid for by Hermes, and your traveling fare to Cairo was paid for by Dapper. So
I'm gonna ride that for as long as I can.
All right then.
wow, I see how it is.
You know it, bro.
Cheap over here.
Yeah.
Has the expenses go back into all the cybernetics? Yep. Cheap.
Yeah, you're slowly going more and more chrome crazy. You're just getting addicted to getting implants. So you're like, I gotta save all my money so I can put a new piece of metal in my brain.
Chrome crazy in a different sense.
Yeah. I mean, we could just time skip to a week if you guys feel like doing
Sure.
that.
Doesn't matter to me.
I mean, I don't really care. If anything, I would. No, I don't think it makes sense for me to randomly just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna start doing mercenary work in a place I don't know.
Yeah, that would be a terrible idea.
If anything, I'd probably be gathering information on like our location, our getting there. Aren't we supposed to meet someone
Yes.
that I just realized to
Yep.
go there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So you guys want to meet with Mr. Essa before you actually like go to the place?
Mhm.
All right. So you guys head to the western edge of the city of Cairo, and you find the caravansary. It is bustling with activity as caravans and convoys of trucks and hoverbikes and hover cars and helicopters and camels all kind of prepare and come and go from the city, delivering goods to the kind of areas outside of the city, or to the nomadic tribes outside of the city, or to the smaller settlements along the roads. And you guys walk up, and it's pretty chaotic. There are people like yelling and like selling things, and people walking around and bringing like pallets and crates and bags and boxes and stuff. And you all look pretty lost for if you could get like a minute or two before a very old African-looking guy with a long gray beard, a big kind of like beige turban wrapped around his head, a cane, like some loose-fitting like tunic and like a shawl. He walks up, and he's like, "I assume that you are all the people I am supposed to be bringing to the desert, yes?"
Indeed, we are.
He's like, "All right. Well, I am Adalesa, your
A
guide."
pleasure.
And he holds a hand out for everyone to shake.
Yeah, I'll shake it.
All right.
Sure. Why not?
Alrighty. So yeah, he's like,
Can I see if the guy has any cyberware about him?
I mean, he doesn't appear to, from what you can tell.
All
Like
right.
through scanning or?
I mean, you can try to, or you can use your EM vision to scan him if you want.
Yeah.
All right, you scan him. He doesn't appear to have any augments, not even a phone in his head. Nothing.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep. And he's like,
All right.
"So,
Well, let's go.
I'm like, okay." And I'm like, "Well, if you're all ready to go, then you can follow me." And he leads you all over to like one of the kind of like general store buildings where he has hitched like 5 camels. And he's like, "So, like, this is how we would be getting to and from the outpost."
All right. Sounds about right. Pretty stock standard for Cairo.
And he's like, "And have any of you ridden a camel before?"
Uh, Cairo's native to this land, so does he have to answer?
Okay. And S is like, "Well, for those who have not, ride them like you would ride a horse. Just don't push them very hard, or they'll bite you." So,
Bro, I almost thought you said like a whore. I was like, oh,
well, that too. But, gentle. They aren't very fast creatures, but they get the job done. So,
Alright. Helmet on, and I'm ready to go.
alrighty. And you guys begin your trek. All the camels are like stocked full of like traveling goods, by the way, like jugs of water and tent supplies and campfire supplies and stuff like that. And as you guys kind of march in this kind of single file line caravan through the desert, Essa regales you all with various stories of his previous travels and experiences out in the desert, from fighting off snakes and lizards and bandits to like finding hidden oases in underneath like hidden plateaus or hills that are camouflaged by the sand dunes, and almost dying dozens of times to dehydration or to said bandits. And he does explain, he's like, so before we get too far into the trip, I should alert you all to the fact that the nomadic tribes of the desert tend not to take very kindly to people trespassing, I suppose would be the word. And in addition, so if and when we happen to spot any of them, tread carefully because they tend to have rather gentle temperaments when it comes to foreigners. Also, there are probably going to be bandits somewhere along the way. That's just how the desert works. So keep your eyes
Sounds about right.
and ears open at all times. Yes, very good. And he just keeps moving. And sure enough, after probably 4 or 5 hours of travel, this massive, probably 50, 60 vehicle convoy moves past you guys all on the other side of this kind of wide, sandy path carved out of the sand. And then all the people on the caravan, the cars are all like ramshackled and heavily customized and partially rusted or worn out with the sand. Some people are riding camels, people are riding bikes, people are walking. And they're all kind of dressed in kind of turbans or shemagh masks to keep their faces from out of the dust. Very loose-fitting kind of arable clothes. And you would assume that these are, well, Cairo would know, but you would assume that these are the nomads that Essa was talking about, and they are all armed in some way, either with shotguns or bolt-action rifles or pistols. And you guys keep marching past that big convoy of people, and you guys spot the wrecks of burned out cars, dead carcasses, skeletons half buried in the sand along the road, various ruined buildings that have been either burnt down or blown up, ruins of villages and stuff that have been destroyed. All sorts of crazy stuff. You pass by little tents, little campsites people set up along the way, and eventually the sun begins to set, and it gets very cold very quick in all deserts, regardless of temperature,
location.
Yeah. So it plumets to 40 degrees, 30 degrees at night. So as soon as the sun begins to set, Essa kind of pulls your convoy off to the side of the kind of sand road, to an outcropping of rocks. And you guys see that in the wall of this kind of it's like a sand dune, and the sand dune kind of ends in a cliff of rocks, like overhang that it has. And on one of the rocks, that faces the road, Essa's name is carved into the rock face in Arabic. And he kind of pulls the convoy over, and he gets off his camel and begins to make a campfire, and he tells you all to set up your tents, but make them close to the fire, but not so close as to catch a flame, because you will be very cold during the night.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So he's, as you all kind of set up, he starts the fire pretty effortlessly. And you all kind of nibble on your rations that you've provided, or the SS provided. Dried meats, dried fruits, like plums and stuff like that, that have been preserved. Jerky, bread, beans, rice. That's what deal. And
Okay.
yeah, I assume you all go to bed.
I think knowing the knowing the state of of the desert, I think Cairo's gonna stay awake for a couple of hours after, but then eventually go to sleep.
I think if anything, I'd just do a shift.
That would probably be smart.
Yeah, Essa will.
Actually.
Yeah, Essa says like you that he'll take the first shift, and then you'll all alternate basically.
Yeah,
Or you could have Oid do it because Oid doesn't need to sleep. So
that is true. So
Right.
Oid can stay up.
okay. Yeah. So as the shifts go by, uh, Essa and Bonus kind of sit up at the fire, uh, drinking and eating their food and talking to each other for like 3 or 4 hours after the rest of you have gone to bed, and then eventually Bonus kind of is back to his tent, and then Essa finishes his shift and wakes Oid up after Oid's using like a portable battery to recharge himself basically. And then he takes the remainder of the evening's shift, and more or less 8 hours later, you all wake up to find that the campfire has kind of petered out overnight, and it is now once again oppressively hot, and you can hear like the buzzards and like the flies and gnats and stuff hovering around you guys as you wake up.
Fantastic.
Except for Oid, who is metal and doesn't need to sweat. So
Ooh, imagine sweating.
unrelatable.
Imagine having pores.
Having any skin, Lamau.
Can't relate. Well, I mean, in my assumption, Cairo would be pretty cool in the arms because, his arms are metal.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you and Bonus and have metal arms. Your arms don't sweat or have like actual skin on them or anything. So
So it's just the main body.
yeah.
It is still oppressively hot.
Oh yeah, early in the morning. Well, it's still kind of like, noon is when it gets like the hottest of the day, obviously. But
Some pretty racist heat.
yeah, it's still probably like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning as we wake up.
Yeah.
Right after sunrise, it's still in the 70s, 75, 80, almost
Sounds
immediately.
about right. Wake up in the morning. Hey, look, we're picking up right where we left off yesterday.
All right.
Right, yeah.
If you guys, wake up, you have a bit of breakfast. You guys continue on your way. Again, another like several hours of the trip goes by. Starting to see more and more of those destroyed car husks and ruined buildings, stuff like that. The farther away you get from the city. I need
I'm
you
assuming
all.
in the time that we spent between the first day and
Mhm.
now, I've picked up my rifle.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm gonna have that at the ready,
Alrighty.
like just hanging in like a holster on the camel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you all have
That
your
is
rifles and stuff you purchased in
that
Berlin
is a
as
6 for me. I will roll for Ankh.
well. Alrighty. Yeah. Project at disadvantage.
That is
for everybody.
a 6. Oh, at disadvantage?
Yeah.
Dakota?
Yes.
What are we rolling?
Okay.
Perception.
Well, I got 2 6s on my roll.
Okay. Bonus got a 1, so no, he does not see this.
Oh, perception.
Yes, at disadvantage.
At disadvantage.
Okay.
That is a 5 for Ankh.
Alrighty. So you and Ankh both pass.
I got 3.
Alright, I believe that passes.
Is my second program done, by the way?
Yes, I'm writing it right now.
Ah, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So I've got all my programs and stuff. Nice.
Yeah. right, Mr. Oid, your perception check.
2.
2. Wow. Okay. I'll also roll for S as well. Why not? I have his character sheet. Might as well use it.
Would he just get this
Cool.
at normal?
We got
Instead of
a
at
10 and an 8
disadvantage?
anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Oh, all right.
So you are all kind of, again, like 5 or 6 hours into your trip. Probably the latter third of the trip, as a matter of fact. Cairo, you're probably like second right behind Essa because you are experienced enough in the desert.
Yeah.
And you and Essa kind of are looking around. Everybody's scanning the horizons. Nox, Essa, and
Oid gets
yeah, he has some sand.
Oid gets some sand in his sensors.
Yeah.
And bonus gets sand in the eye.
The bonus is just like, I think, because of the way this works, right, is looking like at the horizon on a desert is blinding because the sunlight reflects. So bonus is like squinting his eyes constantly, trying not to go blind. Even if his mask doesn't have like a level correction and stuff. So the horizon is normally shaded, but then the rest of his vision is dark to kind of compensate for that. So his vision is screwed.
Odd question, but do those head shades work against like that? Are they
Yes,
just
they
actual
do.
shades?
Yes, they do. They are actually like
Sick.
sunglasses. So yeah, your masks and stuff keep you from being blinded. But to compensate for that, like closer things are much darker. So he's like, you're all kind of tunnel visioned right now, basically.
Okay.
So you're all kind of marching through the desert on your camels, and everybody except for Oid and Bonus, you all kind of look around, and you see amongst the mirages and wibbly wobbly heat waves of the distance, a single like flash, like a bright like glint, like ding, like a twinkle off in the horizon.
Can I pull out my rifle and
You can.
see what that is?
You can. So in that case, make me a perception check. But flat out one though, because you said you have a sniper
Okay.
scope. So
All right. That is a 7.
alrighty. So you take your rifle and you prop it up against your arm and stuff, and you look towards where the glint is, and through your sniper scope, you see that there is like a kind of collection, like a 2-story ruined stone concrete building, like tilted, like half sunken in the sand, and there is that glint on the second story of the building. You can't tell what it is because it's blocking, like the glint is blocking you from seeing what the origin of it is, but there is something there that is shiny on the second floor of a tilted stone ruin in the middle of the desert.
Are you telling me we're about to get sniped, bro?
I don't know. Are you?
All right. I say would there be like a mirror in the like prep pack that we have?
A mirror? Probably not.
Huh. All right. Well, I can use my scope anyway.
Yes.
I'm gonna look up Morse code really quick. Like the dots and dashes.
yeah.
Can I do that?
I mean, I
I'm
guess
assuming
yeah.
I'm assuming most of the world has Wi-Fi now.
Well, yes, that's true. Yes.
All right, and then I'm going to kind of like Morse out hello with my sniper scope.
Okay. So you do so and kind of spend a few minutes trying to do that.
Get to return fire.
Yeah. So you're doing that, and Oid, as you're kind of like getting, you're using like your weird like adjusting metal plate in your body and like shaking out the sand that's gotten into your eyes. You hear a, and you look around, and there's nothing. You're not shot. The cable's not shot. Nobody else is shot. You just heard that, and then a second later, you hear pop, in the distance.
Oh, are we getting shot at?
Yes.
Oh.
And when you hear the pop, S is like, "Ugh," and he just like falls sideways off the camel and lands onto the ground behind the sand dune, and is like, "Get down, everyone! We're being sniped at."
All right, I'm gonna have my camel like calmly fall to the ground.
Yeah, they all, like lie down like a cat. They fold their legs
Yeah.
underneath them, and
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna look over to who else has a long range rifle here with me? Or am I the only one?
I think
Probably
Oid
the only
does.
one. I don't know if my assault rifle can reach as far as a sniper, bro.
Oid is a
Well,
DMR.
I mean, all I need you to do is take pot shots at him to get his attention.
I can probably shoot him.
I'm probably gonna shoot him.
Okay.
yeah, Oid,
then we'll
Oid is
both
the DMR
probably
as
shoot
well,
him.
so you both
Oh,
can, in
alright,
theory,
cool.
hit him.
Wait, so do we have 2 DMRs in a rifle?
Yeah.
Well, both you and Bonus have assault rifles, automatic rifles, and then Cairo has a bolt action sniper rifle, and Oid has a semi-automatic marksman rifle.
All right.
Also, I have
so,
added your
Oid,
rifle to your character sheet, by the way, Cairo. So
Woo!
with the artwork, see that. Ugh.
Yeah, I guess I'll do.
Ooh, I like
I'll
that.
do that.
I like that.
I'll do like a return fire-esque thing. Can I see what he is seeing or no?
You don't have a sniper scope on yours, so
No, I don't.
But you can see the glint,
Yeah, you
so
see the
just
glint.
take some shots over in that general direction.
All right.
In terms of like
can
range, you would assume he is like 300 yards away easily, if not more than that.
300 yards. All right. So let's see here.
So that
First
is
off,
extreme. That's like only a sniper rifle could hit that.
Is
Makes it
mine
hard.
the top or the bottom or both?
Yours is like more of the bottom
top
one,
one, right?
but yours is the bottom one with
Oh.
the sniper scope of the top one.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So I've got a suppressor on it. Nice.
Yes, you do.
Nice. Does it have that hexagonal thing on it, on the scope, or does it have that option of like a sniper scope cover?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna flip that down to break up the glint.
Yeah. So you don't have the glint so bad.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like crawl over to another dune
Okay.
and set up ready for the shot for when he fires again.
Alrighty. I mean, you're all hidden behind a sand dune, so you don't think he can see anyone right now. Not that he's a good shot to begin with, but you know.
yeah. So can I just... Chris? What was I gonna say? Yeah. I'm assuming I can't call a shot. Probably not.
I mean, you like your gun literally cannot. Well, I guess it theoretically could fire that distance.
You would
but
have to aim basically at the sun.
No,
yes,
the
you
only
would be
reason
arcing the shot
that
pretty
I'm
bad.
like kind of justifying a somewhat call shot is just because of the targeting suite. Otherwise, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just.
No, that's too far away for the targeting suite
Yeah,
to actually like.
you would have
activate.
to aim into the stratosphere.
Jesus Christ.
You would have to start accounting for the Coriolis effect.
Yes, he is a great distance away.
Yeah.
Whereas you can
there's
do it
nothing
at
about
like great strain, I can do it at minimal strain.
Yes.
that. Alright. Well, what am I allowed to do here? Just shoot?
I mean, you can just like lay down suppressive fire and just pop. You know, be a decoy basically to draw out his fire.
That's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll make sure not to get my head blown off, but yeah.
Okay. So you do so. One moment.
Yep. Also, I'm gonna be painstakingly outside right now, so I'm gonna be mute unless otherwise.
So I will roll again for the snipper. Okay. So I'm going to roll. Let's see what's. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. Oof. Now you're fine, but oof. So, Nox, kind of peeks her head up and her rifle up, and she begins popping up a couple shots towards the ruin. They're making it like 2/3 of the way there before hitting the ground, but it's something. Yeah, you don't hear anything except for Nox shooting, and then all of a sudden, Nox takes a bullet to the shoulder and just poof, and goes flying backwards, taking 210 damage in the process.
Oh.
And she like spins and rolls down the hill, the sand dune, like tumbling down.
No.
Bro, my armor wouldn't even do anything for that. Oh wait, it penetrates past, I'm assuming armor then.
Oh yeah, you do have armor, so you can roll armor if you want to. It doesn't ignore 3, so. Roll me 2
got an
armor
8.
checks. I need a second one because he did more than 200 damage.
Okay. Yeah, which I got 9.
Okay, so you're fine. The bullet.
I think
smacks
I'm
into your
the
shoulder.
only one
Yes,
who can survive that.
Yeah, who has? Well, no, any of us can survive it, but you have armor stat to brush it off. So the bullet smacks into you, and you tumble down the hill, but it ricocheted off of your ballistic vest, and didn't actually penetrate anything.
I don't think I want to try that again.
And then a second later, you hear the pop in the distance of the gun actually firing.
Oof. So that was close.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good thing you've got armor.
Yes. That would have sucked.
Alright, time to line up a shot here.
Alrighty, so you can make me a perception check, and you get a +1 for firing at extreme ranges.
Ah,
For
very
this-
nice.
for the sniper scope.
Very nice.
The benefits of
That is
the
a
new weapon
9.
system. A 9 +1 is a 10. It isn't quite a critical, but it's still a definite pass. So
It's
roll.
a non-nat 10.
Yeah, so roll the damage.
3d100.
Yes.
And it's suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And my glint is broken up. Oh, that's 100, 170, and a 50. So 170 and 50.
220 damage. Yep. So you just
Nice.
aim your rifle at the glint at you, and you wait like a second. You see the tracer bullets fly over the sand dunes, and then you just see like from the sniper scope, it's like of blood, and then the glint stops and falls over.
Very pog. Very pog. Thank you, Kanye.
All right.
Alright, we should be safe now.
And then Essa kind of picks his head up, and he's like, "We should probably move. There will likely be more of them coming to check on their friend rather soon.
Agreed.
I would assume. So."
Alright, well, you're the man. Let's get going.
Alrighty. So you all kind of pick yourselves up. Nox has to shake the sand from her clothes and her hair and her eyes,
Everything.
and her mouth and her gun after tumbling down the sand dune after being shot with a sniper rifle.
Rather high power one, might I add.
Yes.
I'm
Similar
gonna
power
take
to
that
yours,
rifle,
so.
by the way.
You're going to walk all the way over there?
Well, we're gonna ride there, aren't we?
I don't know. I mean, SS says that there will probably be more bandits over there, but you
And
can if
never
you
mind, I'll
want.
be back for it later.
Alrighty. And you guys continue on your trip, more or less unharried, undisturbed. Another few hours go by. It's now late in the afternoon or the evening, probably like 5:30, 6 o'clock. And eventually, you guys crest a sand dune and lay eyes on a rather magnificent sight. There is a massive, like a massive walled field of solar panels. With it's like a horseshoe shape of solar panels with this big kind of like village on like in the hole to fill the horseshoe, you know. The whole place is walled off. These big, like thick metal walls topped with like barbed wire and stuff. So there are security turrets along the wall, big automated machine guns that are panning back and forth. You can see people walking around inside the like little like village and stuff in the middle. And there is a big like two-story mansion at the back of that like village as well. And this is like that is the outpost Al Fashna. So we're more or less here.
Alright, nice.
And he you guys make your way down the sand dunes and into the up to the main gate. And you guys see that as you guys come within like 30 feet of the wall, you see a bunch of signs every dozen yards. That say, let's say like minefield in English, and minefield in Arabic underneath it.
Oh no, that's mines.
Yeah. And then you walk up to the front gate. It is a huge 15-foot tall series of big, heavy, reinforced metal doors with like a camera on it, and then a bunch of those turrets. Well, like one of the turrets is pointed at the actual like path, and then there's a bunch of the other guns along the wall that are panning back and forth on their like usual, like programmed route.
Yeah.
And you guys walk up, and it's like it's the intercom or whatever, and talks to the dude on the side of the intercom. In Arabic, and you're just saying like, we're the dudes you're expecting with the coin collection, yada yada yada. We're here to talk to your boss. Let us in.
Yeah.
And then the guy on the other side of the intercom is like, "Yep, checks out. Come on in." And then the door, you hear like the loud like alarm, blare, and then the door, the kind of like big pistons that kind of keep it in place, kind of slowly retract, and then the doors slide open, very slowly, and you guys are brought inside, and I can show the map of the village. Village. Where is it? It's over here. That's not it. Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. Did I get rid of it? No.
Did you?
I don't think I would have. How very curious. Also, being blind, which is also a possibility. Alright, I'll just copy paste it from the Google Doc. So, you guys make your way into the actual village through the walls. The door closes behind you. Your camels are hitched up to a bunch of posts next to like a big like fuel tank, like a bunch of fuel tanks and stuff, and like gas pumps, and they're hitched up next to there. And then you guys are led by a couple of like armored machine gun toting security guards up through through the village, so the kind of like main open square, and then up to this huge crevasse in the ground, this big ravine, probably like 40, 50 feet wide. This huge like hole, like line on the ground. Actually, probably more than that, probably like 60 feet wide. And there, it's so big. There are buildings that are built into the walls of the ravine. You can look down and see the buildings built into the walls. And you can walk up to this like almost big, this kind of like stone path, and then across the ravine there is this big mansion, this big metal mansion, and on the roof of the mansion are two big anti-air cannons that are just kind of like sitting there, not moving. And you know the guards walk up to this like pedestal and then type in a code, and a metal drawbridge extends from the path across the ravine, connects to your side. You guys are brought up across the ravine. The drawbridge retracts behind you. You're brought up to the front steps of the mansion, and then the guards knock on the door, and a few seconds later, the door opens, and a kind of heavy-set, kind of jovial-looking Middle Eastern guy with a big turban with a big gold-encrusted jewel on the front of it. This big, nice, long, well-groomed beard. These flowing kind of silk robes with like gold lining and stuff. An AR'd visor over one eye, like a scouter from Dragon Ball Z. He opens the door and he's like, "Ah, hello, good evening. You must be Dapper's associates, yes?"
Yeah, we are.
Like, well, please, do come on inside. We have much to discuss, yes? And then he walks, deeper into his house, and then he lets you guys. The door opens up. You guys are free to follow him if you wish to do so.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so you guys enter into the kind of like the foyer of this big mansion, and it looks in the interior like an ancient Arabian like sultan's palace. It is incredibly luxurious, incredibly like bright and golden, and you can hear like some nice Arabian music playing from over the PA system and stuff like that. And he leads you up a set of stairs, down a long hallway, and through this big kind of metal, sliding metal door. He types a code in and puts his thumbprint on it, and it opens up, and he enters into a really big office. It's a very long office, probably like 25 feet wide by like 60 feet long. It's unnaturally large. And you see that the wall that faces the village in the front gate, that's a big wall of this huge wall of windows, and then probably like 10 feet in front of the windows there he has this big fancy polished wooden desk, a big like cushy office chair, and then the walls are lined with portraits and display cases of like ancient Egyptian artifacts and like pieces of ceramic pottery and like big ancient like tablets with like the weird intricate like cuneiform runes carved into them and stuff like that. Ancient weaponry, sorts of armor. In the very back of the room, like across the against the other wall across from his desk, is a full chariot in a giant glass case. This big glass cube is just a full chariot, preserved chariot from ancient Egypt. And he walks around his desk and he takes a big seat in his big old chair. You're like, so please, gentlemen, lady, please take a seat. Let me examine the product I have paid for. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so you guys take a seat in front of his, across from him. His desk is rather cluttered. There's a bunch of different little tchotchkes on it. There's a big, like, two monitor setup on one side with a big fancy RGB keyboard on it. Um, and he kind of like, well, please, would you have the coin collection? And then also, like, I should know that the Essa is also in here with you guys. He is kind of walking around the room examining the antiques and not actually like paying attention to the conversation. But yeah, so Najar's like, please, do you have the coin collection that I have been waiting so long to get my hands on? You know what I mean?
All right, yeah, I'll give it to him.
All right. So you kind of put it on the desk in front of him, and he slides it over, and he opens it. He types in like a code on the front of the briefcase with the plexiglass case, and he opens it up. And he takes the coins out, and he examines. And the coins are also all individually in their own like petri dish looking like plexiglass little like disc containers to get them all like in pristine condition. And he kind of like examines them. And he puts them all back into like the slots in the case, and he closes the plexiglass case again. He's like, "So, thank you for bringing this to me. You know, if you don't mind my small talk while I authenticate the coins. You know, how you folks got to know Mr. Dapper?"
He works in the city that we live in, so we go to him for suits. He gave us a mission. Pretty standard.
He's like, oh, the yes, Dapper makes very very good clothing. You know, I myself have several of his more premium suit lines in my closet. And he kind of takes each of the coins out of their case, and then he takes them out of like their like disc containers, and then he puts them all in like on his desk, and then he puts the case like on the ground next to his chair, and then he takes one of the coins, and he kind of like looks it over, and he gets like a tiny microscope from under his like in a cabinet, like a desk drawer, and he looks over the coin, and he looks it over. He's like, well, I hope you folks do not mind traveling all this way to deliver these to me yourselves. I apologize for the remote location of my current living situation, but my occupation kind of warrants this kind of remote location for our facilities.
It's hardly the biggest inconvenience we've had to face.
Like, oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. And he kind of looks over each of the coins with a magnifying glass in turn, and then he puts them all back in their disc containers, and he puts it back in the briefcase, the little like container, the bigger container, and then he puts that in a desk drawer. And he's like, well, folks, thank you very much for coming all this way, but, you know, I hate to have you just, you know, show up and then leave, so please, I ask you to stay for dinner, look around the village, at the sights, so let's, you know, figure everything out. And then you guys, he's kind of cut off mid-sentence, as, like, one of his computer screens, like, flashes, like, red for a second, and he kind of looks at it, and then he kind of, like, scoffs, and he's like, these people, I swear to God. And then he kind of gets up from his chair, and he walks over to the wall of windows. And you guys kind of like look past him, like the wall from where you're all seated or standing. And you can see the front gate of the compound. And the front gate of the compound is currently closed. And then Najar kind of brings up an AR like hologram window like on the window screen, kind of like how Cairo you have in your apartment. When he brings one over, and it's like the security camera feed that looks at the front, like the path in front of the gate, right? And there is a kind of middle-aged woman there. She is on her knees, and in her arms is the unmoving body of a young child, and she is weeping uncontrollably and screaming like swears basically in Arabic and like cursing like, you know, like old like witch curses on the company Saharan Silver Solutions. And she yells, she's like screaming about like, you know, how they've destroyed the land and they're killing people and they're burning down villages and all this stuff, all these horrible things.
You
And
said this is like right out in front of the like he
yes,
walked to a window.
yes, he walked to a window and is now like looking at the like security camera footage basically, and you guys can also looking at it because he's not like blocking it.
I'd probably like walk next to him and go, "So do we kill her?"
And he's
Not
like,
her.
he's like, no, you folks can stay here. I have security for this. And he just kind of like, kind of like takes his cell phone out of his pocket, and he like types in his password. Then he types in a couple other things, and you just see like the automated on the security camera feed, the automated turret, kind of flicks to her, and then bum 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 bum, and this big 50 caliber machine gun just like blows her and the young kid's body just to like it scatters them basically, just not even Swiss cheese, not even like not quite like red mist or salsa, but they are eviscerated basically, and so is the ground underneath them, and then the turret kind of flicks back to its like like calm position, and the jar kind of closes the security camera, like dismisses the AR window, and he turns around and he's like, "My apologies, folks. That is an
Wait,
unfortunate
what was
part
she?
of our job."
What was she saying about destroying the villages?
So she was yelling about how the company is like killing people and killing like kids and burning villages and forcing the people off their lands to build more of their outposts, basically. Something you also would already know the company does. They are quite infamous for doing this, burning down villages and cities and, well, not cities, but like towns and villages and campsites, and killing anybody who resists them, basically.
Well, the job's done.
And the judge's like, "Well, my apologies. The locals just cannot refuse to accept the fact that the company has bought this land legally. We went through all of the proper bureaucracy and the red tape that comes with being a corporation in a country that hates corporations. And they just refuse to accept the fact that we, bought the land properly. So my apologies, but bear that in mind. It happens sometimes. It has hazard of the job, I'm afraid. I was like, but again, I do not want you folks to just come here all of a sudden and have to leave right away. And it's getting late anyway. So please, I ask, stay for dinner. I'm having some very fine meals prepared, a feast prepared to celebrate this momentous day." And he kind of like gestures to the coin collection on the floor next to his desk. So please, have stay, have a meal, and then you guys can stay here for the night, and then tomorrow morning you guys can set back off and get back to whatever other jobs Mr. Dapper has planned for you, I'm sure.
Alright. Yeah, sure, why not?
Alrighty. So, he brings you guys downstairs. Well, I guess like the guards that were outside of his office usher you all downstairs, into this huge dining room. And it's one of those like low tables where you have like the cushions to sit on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I guess like an enclosed patio where it's like all like the walls are glass, so you can look out into the desert and like watch the sunset and all that stuff, but it's still kind of controlled, so you're not sweating constantly eating your dinner. And he provides a massive feast of all kinds of local cuisines, of foreign cuisines, of expensive gourmet foods prepared by his chef's staff elsewhere in the mansion. All this incredibly nice, expensive food.
Cairo's just gonna eat home-cooked foods from Egypt. He's not here to eat anything fancy. He's here for what his home has prepared.
All right.
Or what his home does best.
Yeah. And he also brings out like these big, like vases full of wine, also lots of water, obviously, to keep yourself hydrated. And the Mr. Najjar drinks and eats profusely. He is a glutton, to say the least. Like he eats like entire like legs of turkey and chicken and whole plates of
Probably
rice and
lamb.
stuff. Yeah, lamb.
Turkey would be kind of hard to get.
And chicken is really hard to get, but like chicken and lamb and stuff. A bunch of these huge goblets of wine and everything. And the meal goes by, and you all make small talk. Essa eats similarly to you, Cairo. He eats like the local stuff that he is already like familiar with, and doesn't bother trying to have like the super fancy, expensive gourmet imported goods or whatever.
What does Bonus eat? I want to know.
He would eat like the finer stuff.
Would he honor my my heritage?
I mean, he tries the local stuff and like the nicer local stuff that isn't like, everyday thing you can get anywhere. He figures he's somewhere where he can get stuff that isn't only the local stuff, so he's going to have the good local stuff, the gourmet like cuisine from Egypt. And the meal goes by relatively quickly. If any of you have any discussions you want to have over the dinner, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move swiftly onwards.
Not off the top of my head.
Alrighty. Anybody else? Anyone else? Any takers? No? Alrighty. In that case, the meal goes by relatively quickly, only probably like half an hour, 45 minutes. And then you guys are all escorted by armed guards to a separate wing of the building, basically, where all the guest rooms are on the second floor. And you are all given your rooms, and told, that these are all your rooms, and you can sleep here for the evening.
I'm gonna pull Bonus aside really quick, and I'm just gonna tell him, let's just get out of here. I don't care about your morals right now. If you want, we can come back and deal with this later.
Bonus is definitely upset. He's definitely visibly angry. But he hasn't like assaulted Najjar yet, because obviously you guys have been escorted by armed guard the entire time you've been here. So he just hasn't wanted to get himself shot. So he's like, yeah, fine, whatever. We'll leave in the
just
morning.
Leave Egypt for now. Get out of here. And then we can come back later if you're really that mad.
I'm like, no, it's fine. It happens. It's how this part of the world works, I guess.
You're damn straight it is.
And then he goes off to his room. You all have a lovely sleep on nice, incredibly expensive, like thousands, third count sheets and linens and blankets and pillows. Nice climate-controlled, air-conditioned bedrooms. Very nice break from your previous night's sleep out in the cold desert.
I'm gonna have Og on guard during the nighttime.
Alright, nothing happens. You guys sleep well. You get a nice deserved rest after all of the chaos of the past week and your roughneck in the desert the night previous. And you all are woken up by Najjar's assistant, who asks for you all to go to Najjar's office so we can, give you your payment and then see you all off, basically.
Alright.
Alrighty. So I assume everybody follows suit.
Yeah.
And you all head back into Najjar's office. Okay. Okay. So you can sit back into his office, and you see that he has a couple of stacks of dollar bills on his desk, in addition to like a bunch of like Tupperware boxes full of like food. They supposed to going to give you for like breakfast on the road and stuff.
Yeah.
And he sees, well, come in. He's like, oh yes, please, come in. Like, just wanted to express my gratitude for, helping me with this and everything, giving me these coin collection. Like, but please have these payment that Mr. Dapper told me that you all are being paid, and then some extra food for the road, just as a kind of parting gift. I'll have some wine provided to your camels as well, so you guys can have that as well if you feel like it. And just thank you for coming all this way and taking the time out of your busy schedules, I'm sure, to come and humor my hobbies, I suppose you could say.
No problem.
And he stands up, and he kind of goes to shake all of your hands, if you all accept it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. He's like, well, thank you all, once again for coming. If you have anything you want to get before you leave, want to check up on something, want to get more supplies, want to, ask for anything, please feel free to do so. You have the terrain of the facility. And then you guys notice that like Essa's kind of like, so the display. So the way this office set up, right? There's a wall of windows, and then like the display cases and stuff go all the way to the wall of windows. They don't like stop at his desk; they go all the way back. And Essa's kind of he's kind of like walked behind the desk and looking at some of the stuff, kind of looking around. The judge's like, yes, please, you need anything while I guess is still here, please let me know. I'll do my best to accommodate you all, given the kind of odd situation we are in the desert. And then he kind of bids you all farewell. And he goes to go back in and sit back at his desk. And as he kind of passes by Essa, you see that he draws from his pocket, from his like tunic, a rather large curved bone knife. And he spins around, and he like spinning back fists at the side of Najjar's head with this curved dagger. And Najjar's like, what was that? And then he just gets cut right across the face. And the dagger carves into his skull, and it pops his eye out of its socket, and it like just is full, like flies through the air, and lands on the ground. And Najjar is like, he's like, ah, and he's screaming bloody murder, and he collapses to the ground. And Essa is now very visibly in like a violent rage. He's screaming about like, that Najjar's a horrible person, he's morally bankrupt, he's a disgrace to God, all this stuff. He shouldn't be alive.
I shoot the guy who just killed the guy who gave us money.
No, don't do that. It's the guide.
Oh, you pain
We do
me,
not
bro.
want any kind of conflict in this compound.
But we're witness to conflict.
Okay, that means nothing in Egypt.
True.
This kind of stuff happens every day.
I don't know. My first instinct as like a paying mercenary is he just killed our benefactor in front of us. He's a traitor.
No,
Okay. If you say it's normal, it's normal. Okay, Maze won't shoot anyone. Okay, but if someone messes with her, she's gonna kill people.
So Essa kind of like stands over in a jar, and he's yelling his political manifesto at the guy, and the door opens behind you, and those two armed guards that have been standing watch at the office door all day pretty much, they storm in, and they see Essa standing over a bleeding, yelling Najjar, and they level their AKs at Essa and brat, fill him with lead. They just gun him down. They walk in and like, oh my god, sir, are you okay? And they're just like, screaming in pain. and then they level their guns at Essa and put a couple of bursts of 7.62 into Essa's torso. And Essa's like, he's smacks against the back wall of windows, and the knife's still in his hand, and he just like looks at all of you with a kind of like satisfied grin on his face, and then he just kind of slides down the wall of windows, and then promptly dies.
I'm gonna help Najar up.
Yes, you walk up and you help him up, and yeah, his eye is straight up like gone out of its socket. And there's a big cut in his temple, all from his temple all the way into his eye socket.
Is he alive though?
He is alive, yeah.
Yeah.
That isn't a fatal wound. Definitely gonna need a new bionic though.
Could I have shot Essa before he stabbed him?
I mean, I guess if you made an
Just
agility
a
check, you could have.
hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetically, you guys could have.
Okay. Only reason I asked because I was thinking about that, but it just started raining outside, and I was more worried about going inside than being pelted with water.
I mean, yeah, like it was pretty quick, and Issa was purposely like stealthy about it because he wanted to murder this guy.
But why?
Well, it's almost like Issa is a nomad, Lamau.
Almost.
Yeah, Essa is dead, lying on the ground, and you go walk over and you help Najar up, and yeah, his head of his head is covered in blood, and he's like shocked. He's in shock basically. He's half blind. He's freaking out, and the guards walk over, and they like train their guns on all of you for a second, and then Najar's like, no, they're fine. It's they're good, and the guards like walk over and they help him up. And he's like, please, go about your business. Don't mind me. I'm just going to go and get a new bionic eye at the medical facility. And they kind of
I speak up. I go, is this normal for you?
and they're like, well, usually I don't let those kinds of people into my base. And he spits on Ness's body. And he's like, but I decided to make an exception because he was a friend of Dapper's, but I believe I should not have made that exception. After all. And the guards start like wrapping bandages around his head.
I'm gonna turn to him and be like, I know a good Ripper doc that could get you one in Ryanstown.
Sure,
You're
all
like-
the way out there.
Yeah, he's like, well, I'm afraid, my friend, I am thousands of miles away from Ryanstown, but I appreciate the sentiment, And then the guards are like, please, sir, we need to get you to a doctor so you don't bleed out. And he's like, yes, whatever. And they like help him. And he kind of like smacks his head into the side of the doorway because he can't see out of his right eye anymore.
No depth perception having.
Yes, he's like boom, like oh, and they
What are
kind of
you
like
talking
guide
about,
him
man?
out of the way, like into the doorway, down the hall.
He has better perception now. He lost one eye.
When he gets the new eye, then he will definitely have a better perception stat. But for now, he's down to like two or three for perception. And so you guys are kind of left with Essa's bleeding corpse in this office as the two guards escort Jar down the stairs and out of the building.
So it's just us and Essa?
Yes, and his body, yes.
I'm gonna look for a kukri.
What?
A machete, a big knife. Well, Essa's knife was kind of like an oversized karambit, a bone karambit. But there
Okay.
are like many
I
knives
want it.
in this place. Okay, yeah, you can take the.
I want his
Okay.
oversized karambit.
Sure, I will mark that down in your.
I want to take any money he has.
No, he has no money. You guys do get you paid the amount you were promised, which I think was like $2,000, cost something like that, right? Let me see.
More than that.
Let me-
Well, more than 2,000.
I'm pretty sure it's between the numbers of 5 and 15. We haven't hit any jobs that paid us 20 for simple stuff yet.
Yeah.
Well, did he say we can like take anything from in here?
No.
No.
Why would
don't
he-
take anything?
You can't cat
it's
burglarize the guy who's still
No.
alive. Come on now.
No,
The dead guy's
no,
one
it's not
thing.
that. It's not that. It's just like Cairo was like, "Oh, I want to take a big knife." I was like, "What?"
Because it
because
was
it's on
on
the
his
body.
dead body.
Yeah, it's on his body. This also has
Oh.
a kind of rusty old M9 Beretta, by the way.
That you can take if you want.
Sure, I'll take the bread. I'll probably like sell it when we get home.
Why would you
I'll
sell
be
it?
like,
It's an antique.
It is an antique, yeah. I mean, not here, it's just a gun, but in Rhinestone, it's an antique.
I mean, if you're not gonna take it and
my-
sell it, then I am.
I am taking it and sell. What?
Mm.
Huh? You think I'm not gonna just sell this gun that I have no use for?
93.
I mean, you can use it. You can get new parts for it. Make it nice and fancy.
60.
I mean, I could, but that's for when we get to Ryanstown and I care to upgrade an assault rifle. Or a Beretta. An assault.
Yeah, an M9 Beretta.
Yep.
I haven't seen an image of that gun. Let me go to Willips.
The pistol. It's a handgun. It's the U.S. It's a standard U.S. military hand pistol.
Yeah.
Mm.
An Italian-made semi-automatic
Yeah.
pistol. So you guys are in the office. You're looting S's body.
Oh, you know it, bro.
And,
Oh
you
yeah,
know-
why would I? I mean,
What?
I'll probably sell it. Maybe refurbish it and sell it for a higher price.
Yeah, you can do that. There's like a couple of mags of ammo on it, on his body as well, but that's not, a big deal.
Yeah,
Couple
I'll
extra
do.
mags.
The every game when you get a new gun, unload
you,
it,
like-
check
yeah,
the
you
magazine,
check the
put it
mag
back
and-
in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you guys are left in this dude's in Najar's office. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, does he still have like security cams up? in his office?
Bird.
I mean, his computer is there. Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought he just had like a Windows security cam. I was like, I wonder where his doctor
Just-
is.
No, you would need
Burgle.
like his access
not
to.
Burgling this guy, all right?
I'm just taking all of his
Trying to
objects.
Why did you just ask?
Because I said I wanted to know where his doctor was.
Oh, well, so the village, right, on the map, the medical facility is number 14. You guys are at number 10, by the way, obviously.
Yes.
So you guys are just there, chilling like villains, in this guy's office with a dead dude.
Yeah. All right. Let's get the funk out of here.
All right. So you
Yeah,
guys,
I have no
you
use
know,
for this dead dude.
you guys go to leave, and the door opens again, and a couple of guards walk in, and they grab S's body and start dragging it out. And you guys make it to
Oh.
the office door, and then the lights flicker a couple times.
I think Caden Marshall's nearby. No, I'm just.
Wow. Wow. What a reference. So the lights flicker, and the
stick
guards
his
look
finger in
around, and
light
they're like,
sockets.
okay, and they just keep going. Who?
Who?
I'll say Oid. Make me a perception check at disadvantage, por favor. Because you'd be the last one to leave, I assume.
Actually, you can hear the clicking of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my knife. I'm not sharpening it.
Oh, you're sharpening a knife.
No, I'm just clicking it back and forth.
I was gonna say how
I do want to.
how cliche of you.
What? How is that cliche?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
So,
But I do.
wow.
What is Xavier not here? Is Javier not here?
Are you alive, Javier? Okay,
roll
a perception check at disadvantage, my good man.
Give me a moment.
Damn, you sound so bassy and far.
Yeah, you sound hella far away.
It might just be my congestion.
Now that I think about it, you sound kind of like Squidward.
Wow.
Don't wow me. No, I'm right.
You know, I just realized of how like murderous I can make Maze, because I really walked up to the same security camera and be like, "So are we gonna kill her?"
You're just like, I'm like an innocent person. Murder time.
In the middle of Egypt, this isn't gonna bite me in the ass.
Oh, I mean, Cairo's probably going back to Egypt at some point.
Yeah, but like a random no name, another victim of like terrorism and whatnot. It's like, you killed my child. And it's like, yeah, put it in the box, old woman. You gotta
Yeah,
PO
but we
box
didn't
that.
kill
Wow.
her child.
No. Najar and his automated security system and also the minefield did.
Hey, look, they took every precaution. All right, you can't see them. It's like having a wet floor sign on wet floor. It's your fault for stepping into the minefield. All right.
They
Exactly.
have signs.
And that's how the law in Egypt says that it works. That you have a sign that says there's a minefield, and if you go into the minefield anyway, then who's the idiot?
Exactly. See, whoever sympathized with the woman and how her child got blown to bits. It's hard to say, but oh well, you know. It just so happened he stepped on a mine. He can't read or understand
He
symbols
can't read.
at all.
Doesn't know
Well,
what
I
a
don't
skull and
think
crossbones is.
English. I don't
It
think
was in
English is the
Arabic.
objective
It was
language.
in English and Arabic.
Yeah, they were in both.
They got their bases covered, bro. Dakota's smart.
Yeah, I know how legal liability works somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Javier, your check.
One, I said.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't hear that. Well,
oh.
Okay. Well, I guess if a disadvantage gets you. Never mind then. You guys don't notice this very important thing in the background.
Ah, damn.
So you guys make it, back into down the stairs, as the guards kind of drag S's body out in front of you guys. And you make it to the foyer of the mansion, and then the power just cuts. And it all goes dead.
Joy.
And I think I only have thermals and not night vision. But doesn't it have windows?
This mansion? I mean, the ones on the first floor aren't really. You can't see over the wall this way.
I'm
but
just saying for like the sun.
yeah, there's still there's still like light in here, to a degree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I wonder why that happened.
We don't have time to think about this. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, let's go.
All right. So you guys leave the through the unlocked now front doors of the mansion, and find that the drawbridge did automatically extend when power gets cut, as part of
Safety precautions.
yes, precautions. And you guys make it. You go over the drawbridge and you go over the kind of walking through the main plaza. See that all the power for the entire village has been cut, and the automated turrets are off, and the main gate is slowly opening. And you can now all see as the gate opens that remember that like when you guys approached the compound, there was that big like sand dune you guys crested on the horizon. You could see down onto the base.
Got shot by that one guy.
No, that was different. When you guys like actually arrived to this outpost, you guys like crested the sand dune and you saw the base like over there on the horizon.
Yeah.
You guys now see that the entire horizon is full of silhouettes.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Man,
Time to
go
check
to
my
their
scope.
armory.
So you just like look around trying to see if there's an armory present. There isn't an armory, but look on the map. There is number 6 is a machine gun bunker. Like that's kind of like the secondary security for like the base. And you guys kind of look over there, and you see a bunch of the guards like running over to that part of the building or by part of the compound.
Blows up, doesn't it?
Yes, as 5 RPG rockets fire out from the desert, and boom, 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 one after the other, and they just like reduce the building to rubble, and fire and smoke.
Oh joy! I'm gonna try and get to a high point, or like
Now
a
let
high
me ask you
vantage
this.
point.
Was it RPG rocket sounding from a vehicle or like actual RPG hell?
It sounded like it didn't sound like a big like one of those.
It
big,
wasn't from like a helicopter type of deal.
No, it was. It sounded like a normal, RPG.
Okay, just making sure.
Because
really
a normal RPG is better than a airborne
an airborne RPG.
Well, we dealt
like
with
it is like an anti-tank
airborne
rocket
vehicle.
pod or anything. It sounds like a normal RPG round as opposed to like a giant like anti-ship rocket or something ridiculous. No, it's a
a
normal
torpedo. Is it
A ballistic
torpedoes?
torpedo.
missile.
Yeah, an ICBM comes down from the sky and it obliterates the entire village. You're all dead. Campaign over, guys. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Oh joy.
Yeah, and the
I'm
highest
gonna
vantage
give-
point would be back at the mansion.
I'm
It's
gonna
space building.
know. So from what I know of my friends, I know that bonus is gonna be up close and personal with these guys. So I'm gonna give bonus control of Ankh. I'm
Okay.
gonna go up high, get a vantage point, and start shooting people.
All right, you can get to the roof of the mansion. That's the highest place in the compound.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna go.
I want to find bigger guns.
All right. So you guys are running around doing your things, and what handful of security guys are left because most of them got obliterated when the bunker exploded. You hear like a bunch of them yelling like, "This is the biggest assault you've seen." There's like hundreds of them or whatever. Somebody's like, "Why isn't there automated security online?" Yada yada yada. Somebody's got to get that back. We can't.
I'm gonna like basically like radio into them and like tap into their comms and be like, all right, you know what? We'll help you out of this one. The professionals are here.
And they're all like,
We all get shot first.
you all just get sniped. RPGs. Just,
That moment, we all get dinked by sniper rifles.
yeah.
Danked.
Yep.
Had one of those like Team Fortress 2 sniper bots.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So you tell the dude that like the guards that like the pros are here, and the guards like, we need to get the automated security back online, or we're probably
We're
not gonna be able to hold this entire village.
That I
like,
can do.
5 guys.
All right, I can do that.
And they tell you that the Najar's personal computer is the easiest way to access the network.
All right. Well, is there an entrance from the roof?
To the to the there's there's the roof
Okay.
hatch access.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'll enter in through the roof hatch
All right.
into Najar's personal quarters.
Yes, you run into his office again. You run up to his computer. You take the wire out and you jack the back of your neck in, and then you just fall over because you're now in the Matrix. And we'll call it there, I think, because next time will
Alright.
be the combat, the big boy combat.
Nice. All right. If you guys enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time on Quest for the Core.